My name is Alistair Govan and I've lived here in Wickham Skeith for the past 16 years. What about the name Wickham Skeith itself? Well, the Old English for wick is a dwelling. The Old English for ham or hamlet is a collection of small dwellings, and Skeith means an isolated position. The population today is less than 300.
This is Street Farm, and it's probably the oldest house in the village. It's a listed building with several unusual features. Jeff, a former accountant, and Joy Homan, who's a nurse and a teacher, occupy the farm with their family.
Danny, who now lives in London, and he's 20. And here's Sophie, who's the one that was born in Suffolk.
Into the limelight.
And she's now, what are you?
12.
12 now, and she's the last one of the family.
This is Swan House, the home of the Pearmain family. That's Brian, Charmian, Angela and Paul. It was built in 1968 in the grounds of the old Swan Public House. Brian is a kidney patient who dialyses twice weekly. We'll just pop in and see how he's getting on.
About 5 years after I worked for Kellogg's, I got symptoms of kidney failure, and that was going back now 12 years. I've been on dialysis and had the machine at home about 6 months after I was first ill. We tried a couple of transplants, but I'm one of these awkward buggers that reject transplants, and so just at the moment I'm stuck with being on the machine.
So I was asked to take on as local history recorder for the parish of Wickham Skeith, and that is recording history as it is today, photographs and events, that type of thing, and also to record any historical things that other people have.
And Mr. Bakewell lived here, and it's said that he paid for the telephone system to be installed in Wickham Skeith. Now, does Nelson mean anything to you?
Yes. Let my husband
Well, we've got an old fireplace in the house which has a very old piece of wood on it, which the old lady who used to live in here, that was Jane Knight Hepburn, maintained came off an old English galleon which was part of Nelson's fleet.
Oh.
So we call it Nelson.
The Old Swan, closed as a public house in 1966, was taken over as a private house by Len and Mary Costa, now living in Cotton.
And I happened to see this, or hear about it being advertised, and I thought it'd be a good thing to do as a hobby, to renovate it. It had been more or less written off, and the young builder bought it. Spent about three and a half years doing it up.
And how much did it cost you when you bought it?
$2,450.
I'm Peter Cox, I'm the cameraman. This is my wife Judy.
Hello.
Simon, my son, and Joanna.
I've just left Stokish and I'm going to Hartsby now.
That's right. What about you, Johnny?
I go to Hartsby High.
Right. What do you do, Judy?
I'm a physiotherapist.
This is Kazuma, the home of Ron and Sheila Wright and family, who are very active in village and church life. Yeah, so when did you come here? What year?
1970.
So what brought you here?
Well, I wanted to live in the country, not on the suburbs of London.
And you've got a large family, haven't you?
Yes, we were just about to have our 6th child when we moved.
And yet you remain so young and so youthful.
No, not really, that's just a facade.
This is the home of Fred and Rita Rose. What do you use this for, Fred?
I've had this for papers, well, quite a few years now. I should say about 10 years, this one vehicle.
Really? And how long have you been delivering newspapers?
I was delivering newspapers 35 years.
So we decided between us, the team, that we would like to buy our own, and we bought some Melmark, and we've had them since 1983.
We now swing round to have a look at the Thornham Road in 1986. The bridge was built in 1938. On the other side of the River Dove we have the allotments, and here's one of the keen gardeners, Eric Martin.
I've had this since I was about 14.
So you've lived in the village all your life?
Oh yes, yes. Took the lot over from my father, you see.
But you get some fantastic crops in here.
Oh yeah, lovely, yeah. Yeah, you know what you mark your rows out with. One for the small peas, such as onions and that, and this wider one for...
Oh, it's all clever stuff, isn't it?
For potatoes, you see, all green stuff. And runner beans, these old boys, old Day Mays and old Harry Horner and old Charlie String, and had the runners, they say. We had loads and loads. You can see we had masses. I expect I had 300 weight off there.
This was the home of Bert and Dolly Last. Bert is the last remaining son of the former headmistress of the village school, and he now lives in Kent with his son. This was a former chapel from Ipswich. It was dismantled in Ipswich and brought here by Bert Last, who then re-erected it. And here we are outside the village shop, and this is Bernard Mead Larklin. How long have you actually been here as shopkeeper?
5 years. Ham, very good.
Very good?
Yeah, very good. Yeah.
Where do you get your bread from now?
Oh, I have two suppliers, Devon Bakery and Stowmarket firm.
In February every year we have our annual general meeting.
February 1986 we had as a social event a cabaret concert party.
In March we held the Senior Citizens Dinner.
Jumble sales are always popular. We had one in April.
Around the Fields treasure hunt was organised in May.
June, the Grim of Fate was held on the village green for the 14th year in succession.
We organised a family disco and barbecue in July.
Traditionally August is our rest period, but September this year sees the introduction of a car boot sale combined with the fruit and veg show.
In October we have the ever popular Harvest Hawkie or Harvest Supper, and in addition a magic show.
All committee work is voluntary. The only paid member is the caretaker, and I get paid £1 a day throughout the year.
Now you get that again one?
Hey? You're not helping him all the time, are you? What do you in fact do?
Well, Monday to Friday I sit behind an office desk in this.
Doing?
Legal secretary.
So you're keeping an eye on other people's business, really? Sorting it out?
Yes, it could be put that way. Yes, I'm hoping to sort it out. I think I help the family sort it out. It's very rewarding. But this is a very nice change. I'm usually around when something wants to be done like now.
This is the Govan family. I'm Alistair Govan, and we came here in 1970. I remember it well because that was the year that the sewers were put on. It was also the year that Liz was quite large because we had Kerry, and she was born on my birthday at the end of September.
I'm a part-time teacher. I'm also a member of the Women's Club, the handbell team, and a small choir that we have in the village.
I'm Kerry. I'm nearly 16 years old. I'm going to Hartismere High School, and on Saturday mornings I work in the village shop.
I'm Sean Govan. I'm 13 years old, and in the summer holidays I work with the Fennings on the farm.
And how much is it a sack these days?
£5.70.
£5.70? Yeah. Lovely. This is the site of the old windmill, which in fact was pulled down in 1920. Mr. Robert Finbow purchased the land and now has planning permission for 2 cottage-style dwellings.
Now far away, my thoughts fondly stray to that old rustic bridge by the mill.
And here's a shot of Day going down to his privy and making a very dramatic entrance. What's this round the corner here then, Dave?
This is what I used to use years ago. What they call a Dutch oven. This, yes.
So they made the bread in there?
Yes, made the bread and used to bake cakes and all manner what in here. We've used it when we first came.
What's that through there then, that other thing?
That's where we used to wash in, the copper.
The copper?
Yes.
Mill House. This is the home of Peter Hanford and his actress wife, Helen Fraser. Obviously it was the home of the windmill owner at one stage in its history. Peter is a sound recordist, famous for his steam engine records, and also for his winning an Oscar this year for his work on the film Out of Africa, starring Meryl Streep and Robert Redford.
Now we'll have the offertory hymn now, and perhaps at the end of that you'd like to come up and make a circle around the altar. Our first vicar was appointed in 1322. In May 1986, a new vicar in charge of a new priest in charge of St Andrews was appointed, and he is Father Philip Gray from the neighbouring parish of Mendlesham.
And we've also tried to get the younger children involved in it, so that they take a part. In the last few months, particularly with Sunday school, when Sunday school was on, we were able to get them to do dramatised gospels, so that they felt a real part of this service.
All right. Joy Pink?
I'm a rather new church warden, only 6 months so far, but been very rewarding and happy time for me so far.
And Hugh Merriam?
Well, I've been church warden and treasurer for about 15 years now. It seems a long time, but whether I shall do it much longer remains to be seen.
Remains to be seen. Very good. Well, many thanks to you all for spending those few minutes with us. Lovely. Thanks a lot.
Well, it's a long story. Well, I started working, you know, when the ministry had to do, and that's how I come to be connected up with it. Mm-hmm. And then, because they went kaput, didn't they? And then I took it all on my own. Yeah, I mean.
So this lot that you've got here, where have they come from then?
David Jeffries at Weathingset.
Yeah. He just finished combining, had he?
Well, these are shot in the dark, you see, you know, with the lights, with the headlights. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's about 77 head.
So where do you take these now then?
Roy Palmer to get them, dealer. Mm-hmm. Well, these go to France.
Do they?
These go to France as they are, with the insides and everything. Oh yeah, yeah. These are sold, you see, in France as English fresh rabbits.
What about foxes then, Kenny?
Oh, we deal with them and all. I mean, you know, if we're around at night, I mean, we pick one, we call them, you see.
How do you do that?
Squeak like one of these rabbits, make a noise like a rabbit squeaking.
Can you do that now then? Go on, have a squeak.
No, I'm not. I mean, well, that's a technique on its own.
Can you explain your technique then by making a noise like a rabbit?
Well, we use various sort of things. You see, I'd make a squeakers, or do it with your mouth, or do it with your thumb. You see.
Yeah. Can't we have a demonstration of a squeak then? Go on, let's have a squeak.
But they're fascinating animal. You know, they say crafty as a fox, but they're not as crafty as what people think they are.
No?
No. I mean, I don't know whether they come in for the actual squeak, or whether their instinct tell them, I mean, you know, they're curious, they're going to have a look and see what's going on. I mean, I've had them come up as close as the back of Tony's van, as close as that to the van.
Really?
Oh yeah.
So are there many around about here now, do you think?
Well, there's several. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I was the first chairman of the club, and
So how much do they pay to come to the meeting?
it's now 35 pence each a month, and we have a yearly subscription of 50 pence. And that just about keeps us out of debt.
And you play a lot of musical instruments, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
So what's your favourite?
Well, melodeon or mouth organs. My
So can you give us a tune now, do you think? This one's called In and Out the Windows, is that right, Tina?
That's the one.
Lovely.
When clouds are vanished and skies are blue, I'll come back, sweetheart, to you.